Good afternoon from Yummy BTV. Wishing you all well today, sending loads of love to you as usual. Right, now, if you haven't seen on the community page, we finally, after 3 years of you lot telling me, come on, Uncle Yummy, get that book, that first book, done, Hopelessly Lost, where we will be going back in time. And I always say time has been immaculate for me on this journey. You know, the 3 years I've been out, I could write a book alone on that, of all the dramas that have unfolded with being institutionalized and coming out and thinking that because you're not a criminal no more, you still got to go through life struggles, because you're going to have to bump into things that you've never experienced before, Uncle Yummy, I'm afraid. But it would seem, for the first time in 3 years now, confident enough to know that I will not be going back to any drug substances, right? I feel so confident about that. I feel like I can't be breached. And you've heard of little ups and downs since I've been out, when I've got over those initial stages of being gassed from being off drugs for a short period of time, and then only to succumb to it again, and then have to recover and go all these demons and hurdles that I had to go through. But hold on 1 minute. That means then if I would have been writing my book last year, I wouldn't have been ready, because I wouldn't have remembered everything that I'm remembering now. Today, from the beginning of time with the approved school where I went to in West Grinstead, Sussex, for bad boys, run by brothers, we used to get beatings every day. Now they've all come and opened up a group on WhatsApp where I'm recapturing all those I used to think about over the years and what happened to them all. More names coming to the fore, more clean time, more memories and detail about those guys I met, and of course my part with all of that as well. From beginning of time, we knew that it was a sad start for me. We know that. We knew that, you know, sometimes you can't choose the start you get. It's in the hands of others, and we know that there's evil out in the world, and it goes on today. And I have many sufferers close to me that experience and feel the pain of that beginning of mine, because they're going through it themselves or been through it themselves as well. Uncle Yummy's heart will always be with the sufferers. We knew that I was the class clown. We knew I was the great comedian. We knew that I was a crowd pleaser. But I am pleased to tell you that every day I wake up now, that I'm remembering more and more. And there's nothing right. There's always a time, I realise now, with God's timing. Because timing now is right for the book. So the chapters have started. The author's there for the ghostwriting and that kind of stuff. The audiobooks, you can't do the audiobooks without having done the written books first. So we'll get part one of my book, Hopelessly Lost, out the way in record time. So we'll get that out there first, because, you know, we've got to get all the sadness. And, you know, Uncle Yummy's going to talk the absolute truth in it, as painful as it was. But, you know, we get round to, you know, the supposedly enjoying moments of living that life as a habitual criminal and idolizing big name criminals, from smaller criminals to start with to the bigger names as time went on. You know, like it's like I graduated in time, that was taken in by the Irish, the Scottish, the religious side of things, the Cockneys, the North, my North lot, the Geordie. You know, like we've got all that in, but there's so many books in there, because we could have a book like they're telling me about Norman, what's his name, in Parkhurst Tales. They're saying, Uncle Yummy, you could do a book on that alone, because there's so many stories that I ain't even told you yet, because we know that a lot of my stories could go on forever because of the amount of time I spent in different institutions from the crack of dawn. And I'm starting a series probably soon with Channel 5 with the psychological breakdowns on certain things as well. I just had to let you know that. With human behavior around serial killers and that kind of stuff as well. So another different subject there, where people are recognizing that Uncle Yummy, you know, because he actually set eyes on the kind of evil that is out there. Me being a criminal myself, of course, but nowhere near that kind of stuff there. But, you know, we spend so much time along those years analyzing. They're saying the best teaching could only become from, not jumping, but from you, because you watched everyone with your own eyes from creation as a child. Some geezer's coming up there today saying, oh, did you sure it was Erskine and he's out, he's not out, maybe he was imagining things. Look, I was in Stamford House with Chris Eubank. I was in a bedroom with him. I went into O'Hare House which is the 13, 14-year-old house, is because of my age bracket when I stabbed the man in the children's home. They put me in a room with Chris Eubank. Fact, right? Chris Eubank did not want me to leave the room. The next day they said, look, Sammy's too small to stay in here. We're going to have to put him over Hanvey with the age group below, even though he's older, but his size is too small. Chris Eubank was arguing with them and saying, nah, leave him with me. Because I had a night with him and he was laughing all night. We knew what I was like as a little boy. And he was an angel, Chris Eubank. He was a guardian angel to me, man. And he was Mr. Simon said in the boxing, because we all used to go in the ring and spar, I was too light, but he said I had a great start. But Chris Eubank was the greatest fighter in Stamford House in 1981, round about that time, right? Facts. And there's no if or buts about that. Right now, in Hanvey, Chris Eubank was arguing with them, saying to them, listen, yeah, leave Sammy with me. I will look after him. They said, no, he's got to go over to Hanvey. And then I met all of them. Erskine was in there. They tried to involve Erskine's name with Eubank in Stamford House, that he had some ties or something, liberty taken. The Eubank didn't like Erskine. Erskine was a weirdo right from the start. If I told you I saw him, or, he was around recent times, and I know that through talking to the newspapers that they're not allowed to say anything because it's under the Mental Health Act, and they can't put him at risk. If I was to say to you, oh yeah, but they might even know where he is. Some people might even know where he lives and that kind of, but it's not for me. I don't care about all that. I'm not a criminal no more. I'm not after nobody. It doesn't bother me. It's not for me to share that kind of information on YouTube. Facts again. You know what I mean? You got someone telling me now that Nicholas Minaj is on home leaves. Cool, in a minute, I hope he never sees me. Mind you, he liked me as well, didn't he? But no, serious facts, right? Coming up. We'll get that first book done in record time. Uncle Yammy's remembering more. I celebrate with you all today. Those that all stayed true to me throughout this journey and knew the next stages were coming for other platforms as well. I'm going to start joining the TikTok, the Instagram, and what's that other app called? Twitter. I didn't even know about that. Like them lot saying, yeah, but it's about time you joined because everybody else seems to be on all other apps doing their thing and making their subscribers and followers and more out there time and advertising and all that. I haven't thought about that for 3 years because I ain't been in a position to mentally and physically with the ups and downs of outside life, which many of you caught onto right from the start. Some of you are just here for the stories of the category A's and who I met and all that. Some of you are here because they loved Uncle Yammy. And Uncle Yammy says that he loves you all no matter what. But the game's rising now, starting to focus on each day and what work I've got to do to move forward, if you get what I mean. But for those that have been with me from the start, you'll always have a special place in my heart, hopelessly lost, because that's what it was. That's what I felt like. I was in the wilderness. It was more like Oliver Twist, stroke the Artful Dodger, if you get what I mean. Sending loads of love to you. Probably be up tonight as well. Big love.